Hey, back for another episode. A lot quicker than I thought I would be, but yeah, made quite a bit of progress yesterday. Um, as you can see, my storage drawers are a bit of a mess. I've got lots of stacks of iron around the place, so I need to actually go through and sort those out. The reason it's like this is because I started the system before I put any of the upgrades on the drawers. So if I'd put at least the void upgrades, that wouldn't have happened. I just would have had 512 of each item, and it would have stayed in one place. But because I didn't have any things, it fills up one drawer and it just starts filling up another one. So all I need to do is go around and empty out all the things, and you can see I've got 2 storage upgrades in here. I need to make another stack of 64 emerald upgrades, which is quite a bit of a process, and finish filling those out, and then that means each drawer can hold 26,000, I believe, each, and then just move everything around so that it's only in one drawer. Tidy it up, maybe put all the ingots in one place and that kind of thing. But this has been working fantastically. So the main reason for this was to get the rubies, and we've got 178 rubies here, which is quite nice. I'll be able to make another 64 lasers. Yeah, so I'll show you, or I'll explain the system, I guess. So the main part of the system is this area. So we've got a drawer full of dust, a drawer full of sand, a drawer full of gravel, a drawer full of crushed netherrack, and a drawer full of crushed endstone. It gets piped into a sieve. The sieve runs and pipes it into this chest. The chest has 2 item conduits on it, one on the top, one on the bottom. The one on the bottom leads directly to the drawers, the one on the top goes into the compactor. They both have the same item filter, just the one on top is a blacklist and the one on the bottom is whitelist. So the one on the bottom pipes out into dust, flux dust, and quartz dust, and sends them off to the storage drawers, and then the top one does everything but those things and pipes them into the compactor. So the compactor then compacts them into ore, sand, or dust, whatever the version is that it gets, and puts it into the furnace to smelt it, and then the furnaces have item conduits on the bottom which feed into the storage drawers, and that's how I get my ingots. Now, we have one special case, which is when sieving the crushed endstone, we get draconic ore, which cannot directly be smelted itself in the furnace. So we have a pulverizer as well, which has a insert filter of draconium ore. Now, because we can't put it into the furnace doesn't even request it, so just having this filter here is enough to get the pulverizer to grab all the draconium ore and then turns it into draconium dust, I think is the... yeah, into this draconium dust. And then the draconium dust gets put into the furnace for draconium ingots. So that's what we've got there. So I've got 14 draconium ingots so far, so not much, but as you can see, the system's not running right now. So in order to fill our drawers with these things, we need to generate them somehow. Now, there is plenty of different ways, but I think my ways are quite compact, so I'm quite happy with this. So the first one we've got here is a cobblestone framework from Ender.io. So this is another way of generating cobble. So this generates cobble, and then I can put sag mills in here. Actually, we don't need that sag mill in there, so I'll take that one out. And so I can put a sag mill in here, which then mills the cobblestone into gravel and sand. So from there we can pull out gravel and sand. That's great. That's 2 drawers done in one block. Oh, jeez. So we also need dust. So I've got a pulverizer here. So some of the sand gets fed into the pulverizer, and the pulverizer creates dust, which then feeds out dust. So I've got 3 drawers and 2 blocks. Now this is the complicated-ish one. So what we have here is a lava fabricator, which gives us lava, and an infinite water, which gives us obviously water. We feed those into an igneous extruder. Now an igneous extruder can give us cobble, which is another way to generate cobble, but also can generate obsidian and stone. So we've got this one making stone. The stone is being piped into a crafter, which actually doesn't need an octadic capacitor in it, and then the stone is being used with Enderman essence to create endstone, and then the endstone is being piped into a pulverizer, so it can then be turned into crushed endstone. So that's another drawer. Now you might be saying, where does that Enderman essence come from? Well, it comes from here. So here we've got a small farm which has Enderman essence or Enderman seeds, which make the Enderman essence, and nether seeds, which make nether essence. So I've just got harvester harvesting it, piping it into this chest, and then the chest has 2 item filters, so the nether essence goes down the green pipe and the Enderman essence goes down the brown pipe. And so this is coded to brown on the bottom, which means that it gets the Enderman essence. And then we've got this one, which is coded to green, which gives us the nether essence, which we compact into netherrack, and then pipe the netherrack into another pulverizer, which gives us the crushed netherrack. And you can see, if you remember last time, I got some void pipes as a reward, and I said they can be useful. Well, here's the use. So when you crush netherrack, you get a secondary output of sulfur. Now I'm not using the sulfur for anything in this system. I don't care to store it anywhere. If I wanted to, I could have an output that puts the sulfur into the storage drawers, but I don't need it. So I just put a void transport pipe on there. So I'm piping onto the left side the yellow, the secondary output. As you can see, that's yellow, and then I'll just put the void pipe, so that basically just deletes those items. So if we have a look outside, I was just temporarily powering this from some Vibrant capacitor banks. So this held 1.5 billion RF, which did it for a long time, but I've had the system going overnight because I wanted some diamonds and some rubies, which I've got, so I'm happy with that. Yeah, I'll talk about that in a second. So, as you can see here, this is not simple. It's quite complicated. They all have specific colours and specific functions to do, same as the cow farm. It takes quite a while to set up. Plus we're also working in the cramped space, and I've been cursing myself for putting the first floor so low to the ground. Luckily with this, the floor isn't razor thin, so there have been areas, like I think here, where I've been able to dig out a couple of blocks so that I can actually get in and configure the pipes. But yeah, it's all done. So that's great. Yeah, the power system is not done, obviously. It's just the capacitor bank, which is now empty. What I will be building is a power room, and that will at the start house a diesel generator. In the future, it will house a big reactor, and in the far future, a nuclear power plant from Mechanism, which is a massive thing. So we've got a bit of space here. What I'm thinking though is I will just make a room that fits the diesel generator for now, and then I can extend it as needed, instead of making a massive room and then having this little diesel generator get dwarfed inside it. So yeah, that's the first improvement, is to have actual power system. Second one is to speed up the plants, because at the moment I think netherrack is fine, but the enderman seeds are not. I'm not getting crushed netherrack as quickly as I can sieve it, because all these sieves have 64 speed upgrades in them, so they go pretty dang quickly when they are on. So I need to put in some Agricraft sprinklers to speed this up, is the easiest option. Unfortunately, with only 2 spots above it, that's too low. The sprinklers will come right above here, and they need at least 1 block of air above them. So what I need to do is I need to actually dig the ground out, drop the dirt down one, drop all this down one, and then I can add the sprinklers on top, which is another thing I'll be doing. I just wanted to make this video. So yeah, I believe I mentioned in the previous video the whole reason I did this was to get rubies and stuff to make the assembly table lasers and things like that. So now that this is up, I'll be able to sort all that out, and we can have a look at some of the other stuff I've done and talk about what that means for future goals. So this is where I plan to have my assembly table, and I've already made 64 more lasers than I had. I have enough rubies now to make another 64 lasers, which I'll probably put along the top. I believe I will probably need 2 diesel generators, and I'll get a couple more vibrant capacitor banks in order to power all this. I also don't know if these energy conduits are enough. I might just upgrade it. I'll have a look online and see if I can find out how much they each consume. Do the math, make sure that these can carry enough power. I think I might need to go up to the next tier of energy conduit. I don't think I need to go up to the top tier, but maybe I do. If it gets close enough in the calculations, I might just go to the top tier, even though that's pretty expensive. Here I've just recreated my cyclic assembly setup for salt, and I've just put a chest on it so that I've got plenty of salt when I want it for making the binding composite for conduits. So this room is where there's going to be a lot of crafting stuff, so all Ender IO machines, lots of little stuff like this, like specifically set up to make salt. And I've learnt logistics pipes yesterday, so I will be setting up a massive crafting station. What I'm thinking also is I might set up another room to the side, probably to this side, with just like a massive crafting grid, so I can go in and configure the crafting and have these things with a bunch of sinks and stuff, a whole bunch of pulverizers and things, so I can have all that sort of stuff set up. So as you can see here, this is the assembly table, big enough to take up 2 stories. For the moment I'm just powering it from my old power source. This will also be going once the diesel generator's in, because all this stuff's getting moved down. I don't need this system anymore, but I'm wondering if I just keep it, just because I don't think stuff like this causes any lag if you're not actually using it. So I might try and set this up more compact down there as well. But yeah, I can make steel seeds now, and that's how I'll get steel. It's much quicker, much more resource friendly. The main thing from this process is getting this slag. I've got 4,000 slag there, and I've got another 500 slag there. So I think I have enough slag. That should do me for now. If not, yeah, I might, when I'm relocating this and trying to compact it up and make it look nicer, which I don't think we particularly can, not with the Ender IO stuff. I have seen a nicer system, but it's using like conveyor belts and stuff. But I might do that just so it looks nicer, because I still want it functional if I'm going to have it around. But yeah, so that means that these storage drawers can go down stairs. Most of this stuff can go down there, some of it cannot. Like we've got obsidian ingots here, which we do not make down there. Then we've also got actually quite a lot of this row. So we've got pulsating iron, conductive iron, electrical steel, electrotyne alloy, and energetic alloy. Those all don't come from sieving. Those have been from crafting or seeds. Also redstone block. We're not storing the blocks. So yeah, I'm hoping to replace a lot of this stuff with a logistics pipe system, which will be nice, which will give me access to all these things. It's going to be fantastic. So a modular storage can hold 300 different stacks. I wonder if that's the most compact per block that I could do. If it is, then I'll still create a whole bunch of these. If it isn't, I'll be creating something else. The logistics system will actually let me have this functionality over multiple places of storage, so I will be going with that. And also, relocating QED, relocating all these machines, decommissioning the thermopiles, or thermoelectric generators, I should say, moving my metal press, again trying to hook it up to a logistics system, and my furnace. So mainly this furnace will be used for myself, I think. Everything else can have redstone furnaces set up, which are a bit simpler. The main thing is that Hell Furnace is, well, first of all, I had to make it for a quest, and second of all, it's pretty damn quick. So if I put a whole hopper worth of items in there, it doesn't take too long to come out. So yeah, I made a whole bunch of conduit binder because I was running out, and especially if I'm going to start making, painting the covers, whatever they're called, I'm going to need a lot of it, so that's what I've done. No work in the nether this time, which is nice for a change, not going there. Went there a couple of times just to gather resources, and also used it to power up my vibrant capacitor banks because it's my biggest power source at the moment, but otherwise, yeah. So I've been harvesting some dark steel. I've already sent that off to the overworld. Yeah. So got a lot of seeds and stuff, and that's all earth essence. I think it's about time to set up my mansion, or at least set up the ground for the mansion, and sort out where the storage is going so that I can build enough to actually set up the storage system. Because we are almost ready to, well, we are ready pretty much once I make this diesel generator for the overworld, so that all those sieving is constantly going while this is happening. But yeah, we're pretty much ready to start putting down harvesters, so I need to craft a whole bunch of them and start doing that. I've been creating a layout. So basically there's going to be a couple rows of farms going down here, and a couple more rows of farms going down there, and maybe another row in the middle. It depends on how many I'm fitting in. I haven't worked out the exact number. And I've also found a good search for things. These guys are really annoying me now. Supremely annoying me. They spawn so often and just knock back and stuff. God, very annoying. So if I search magical crops, we have a decent list of all the stuff in magical crops. Actually, can we do magical crops core again? And they're just everywhere. They can't kill me, but they can knock me around. I can't ignore them. And then the other birds that the same thing. They can't kill me, but they poison me and make the screen all wavy, so I can't ignore them either. It's very annoying. I didn't turn that back on. Damn. Right. So, yeah, rows, and this will be a big hedge, so this back area will be hidden, you'll look through here, hoping to have like some this is where the Pam's harvest craft stuff will be going, so all the different seeds for the different foods. Set that up here. With some kind of water feature garden thing around here as well, and same on the other side. So this is going to look quite nice and inviting as you go down, and then this is going to look nice and straight through. So I've been looking at a lot of Baroque gardens or French formal gardens or Victorian gardens and stuff to sort this out, and yeah, hopefully it looks as good as I want it to. I think, judging from what I've come up with so far, I'm happy. I'm not the best builder in the world, but I think I do a fairly good job, and I know what my limitations are as far as skills, so I'm not trying to do too much. Let's see, just everywhere. Now, I'm not sure, usually this is no, it's actually picking it up. Now, it's because I've got my ring of magnetization, it actually pulls it out of the system. I don't know if that's graphical glitch or not. Anyway, this is a logistics pipes system. So first thing you have is the power junction, which takes the power from a normal power system and then powers the pipes. Then we've got these crafting tables. So I've got one to turn wood into planks, one for planks into sticks, and one for sticks into crop sticks. Now see these double square pipes? So those are crafting pipes. So they are the thing that knows what items to request to put into the crafting table to make the craft. Then we've got here, which is a provider pipe, which just means that it tells the system what is in this chest and will let it be requested from that chest. So this is getting wood. And then here we've got a supplier pipe, which is configured, let's get the wrench out, which is configured to say in the inventory that I'm connected to, always have this stuff. And I've just got a stack of crop sticks there, so what happens is that it always keeps a full stack of crop sticks in there. Now this this chest is connected to the 10-10-10 station. This chest is connected to the tree farm. Now, I always have such difficulty getting out of this place. I don't know why. So to power this system so far, I've just got some solar panels on top, but these are solar panel tier 2, so they work 4 times as good as the tier 1s. So solar panels go up to tier 12, I think, and I believe they get times 4 better each time. So once you get to tier 12, they are doing a massive amount of power. They can rival power plants, nuclear power plants, if you make a big enough array, but they take massive amounts of resources to do. So I don't know. I'll be setting up a crafting system to make them, because each tier requires 4 of the previous tier. So imagine how that kind of scales up. I believe the tier 12 require like 10,000 or 20,000 of the tier 1s. So here I have standard tree farm, which I've had before. It's just a normal farming station, not an agricraft one. Notice it doesn't use crop sticks. I've just told it to plant oak. At the moment there is nothing increasing the growth for the tree farm, but that's fine. As you can see, the chest is full of wood, because at the moment it's only sourcing wood for the 10-10-10 station. So yeah, I'm happy with that, just the natural wood thing. Now wood doesn't just, or oak trees don't just make wood, they make apples, saplings and wood. So we have a interstitial drawer with a void upgrade, so that we're not putting apples or saplings into the supplier chest for the or the provider chest for the logistics pipe system. Now, also connected to the 10-10-10 station, something which will be getting sorted. I'm going to have to figure out why that's doing that. Maybe it's because the pipes are I made it too compact. I'll have to see. This will most likely actually be put into the storage area, but this is the seed storage, so all the seeds go into here and they get immediately piped into a trash can. Basically the same thing as the void pipe that we're using in the overworld, but this now takes 2 blocks to do it, and then some drawers which take the other byproducts. And I see it's pulling out crop sticks, so I need to add a black list. Do I have an item filter? I bet you I don't. I should just make a whole bunch of them. No. So I need to make an item filter which blacklists crop sticks, so that when it's pulling out of here, it's not pulling out crop sticks. Because otherwise, what that means, this is a void upgrade. This will just keep requesting crop sticks. So I'll keep sucking out of there. So it'll just constantly craft them to just be destroyed there. So I need to sort that out so it's not constantly crafting crop sticks. That might solve that issue as well. So yeah, basically this is just remnants of the old system. It needs to be cleaned up, and the new storage system set up here. So the first thing to do would be to clear out these trees. Not all the trees, just the ones that are above where the ground is going, and set up my schematica again and build the ground for the mansion, and figure out where the storage is going within that mansion. Because the schematic I've got for it is quite detailed on the inside as well, which is nice, because there's a lot of those things you get and they're just hollow. It's like, come on. Put all this effort onto the outside and then the inside's got nothing in it, absolutely. So yeah, so that'll be next. First is put the diesel generation in the overworld so that the sieving system is constantly working. Next will be to move the plants for the sieving system down one, so I can put in some AgriCraft sprinklers so that can speed that up, so that we're constantly sieving endstone to give us draconium, which will be nice. And then to come through here, start building the storage system. Yeah, I don't know whether I'll build this first or do more on the logistic pipes in the overworld first. I think both are equal priority, so it depends on what I feel like doing, whether I feel like doing some more building or whether I feel like doing some more crafting and stuff. So yeah, either way, we'll have some progress done before the next episode. I like to think this has been a bit of progress this episode, so that's, yeah, I'm very happy with how yesterday went. And yeah, so I've just put the dark steel down here. I've compacted it into blocks, so we've got 400 blocks of dark steel. So that's nice because the harvesters require 2 dark steel axes, so we've got enough dark steel to do that. So the main thing is, I think I need to go kill some more zombies for zombie heads. I think I've only got a stack of zombie heads left, and yeah, might plant some grass on that dirt as well. Just put one spot and just watch it slowly cover it. Should be fine. It's just an aesthetic thing. And then yeah, once I've got the storage system actually set up over there, I can start adding harvesters so that we can get that all working. Not entirely sure how I'm doing the power for all the harvesters and stuff. I'm thinking that can all go underneath. If I get all the overworld stuff done, then I can start building tesseracts. So I think I might actually prioritize that, and then tesseracts will allow me to just set up like 4 or 5 or 4 or 6 diesel generators in the overworld, just powering a massive capacitor bank, and we'll have that set up to a tesseract so that the tesseract can pipe the power across the dimensions and stuff. And tesseract can do infinite power, like its rate. It's so one tesseract will be able to send all the power from all the diesel generators, even though that's going to be like million RF per tick or something, which sounds crazy, but to do these RF tools dimensions, we're looking at, you know, a couple million RF per tick just to hold one open, and that's something we need to get into. It's something I know absolutely nothing about, other than you use the dimlets and you got to find the dimlets, or I don't think you can craft the dimlets. Anyway, that's another thing to get into, but for now is getting all the crafting stuff under my rock sorted and put into logistics pipes, so that we can do as much stuff automatically and from a single station as we can, and to get the Aether Garden going and actually storing stuff and all proper. So yeah, that will be nice. Once that's done, then like I've said before, I've still got a little bit of Botania, a little bit of Pneumaticraft. We'll get those done, and then we can look at what we're actually doing next, whether it's RF tools is more beneficial, or mechanism to get into Galacticraft. We'll you'll see, I think that's pretty much where we're at. Yeah. So yeah, I've still got a little bit of Britannia, a little bit of crafting here. Oh, I've also got to set up my Bedrockium generation, which shouldn't be too hard, so I might actually be one of the first things I set up the it's the logistics crafting system to do that, because the cobblestone framework that I'm using at the moment, those things take a bit to craft. That one I didn't craft, I got it from a bag, so that was nice, but otherwise there's quite a few components to it, so, and I probably want to get about 12 of them going for the Bedrockium generation. But with that, I can actually put compactors and stuff in there and things. So I have a few ideas for that. That's going to be hopefully a lot quicker than crafting all the world interaction upgrades for the cobblestone generator, the extra utilities one that I was using previously, which I never even got a single octuple compressed cobblestone from that. But it sounds like with these 12 cobblestone frameworks, I should be able to get 1 octuple per hour or something like that, which, you know, is a hell of a lot quicker than I was doing it previously, so that should be nice. Another thing is these unstable ingots is another thing I need to get into, and also to do the second ritual for the sigil. So yeah, we should be able to do most of these things. This is crazy. I don't know if I can do this right away or not. I should be able to. Mostly there's like a lot of different items, like all the vinyl records and stuff, and I don't know how to do that yet, so I have to look up how to acquire all those items that you need to, because you set up a beacon in the middle, and then at each point of the compass you put a chest, and in that chest you have to have specific items, and once you do that it spawns in a whole bunch of enemies. You have to kill 100 enemies, and then it that's the ritual as far as I know. There's a lot of all this crafting which I will do once the logistics system is set up, mainly because there's a lot of steps. Like I said, with these redstone cells take 160 blocks of redstone per one, so I want to know that I'm actually farming redstone and have enough to make those on request. But once we have the logistics stuff, once we have the farm, the first thing will probably be redstone that I put in, and the enderminescence for ender pearls, the two things that I'm lacking the most at the moment. So I'll do those and get that all sorted. Then yeah, like I said, finish new Mattercraft so we can get on to Mechanism. So these are the solar panels. Go up to tier 11. I don't know if they go higher than that. I can probably do this, or just all the upgrades for it. I can make tier 3. Again, it adds a whole lot of extra steps. So I need to, once the logistics pipes setup is done, it's going to be a lot better. There's still all these Mine Factory Reloaded machines I haven't done, and then the laser drill, I totally forgot about that. But then I'll be ready to make the Mangaloy and get into all this sort of stuff. But this requires Galacticraft because I already know that I think it's this thing or this thing requires Mercury, which requires going to Mercury to get, I think. And these, the RF Tools dimensions, I think they're basically gated by power. So if you have enough power, you can do all this RF Tools stuff now, but if you don't have enough power, then you can't. I might actually do this first one because I've done all these, so it should be nice to finish those off. Yeah, anyway, that's Theta. So yeah, I'm trying to tidy up the quest trees that I've started. I know it's taking a long time before actually getting to something that's new, like Mechanism or whatever. I know we did Pneumaticraft, but that was barely on screen and it was just for a little bit of plastic. And Pneumaticraft is only used to make stuff to make other stuff, really. All the plastics and the circuit boards and things, but yeah, and I'm pretty keen to get all this Britannia stuff done so that we can actually fight Gaia and make the Master Infusion Stone, and that means that there's a whole lot more seeds that I can start making. This is getting a little bit more stripped down. There's still a lot more stuff up here. If I get this logistics pipe system set up, I should just be able to have a massive storage bank, so set up a whole bunch of chests, whether it's a whole bunch of diamond chests or something, and because I won't need to access them myself, I can just set them away, a big wall of them, and stuff doesn't need to be organized because it will be organized by the logistics pipe system. And that means I can just dump all this stuff into there. Should be good. And it looks like logistics pipes works over dimensions as well. You can set them up to communicate. So what I can do is I can have the mob farm in the nether, the storage drawers there advertise themselves as the storage place for those items. So for example, we've got a bunch of stuff from loot bags here, like gunpowder, lapis, rotted flesh, seeds, overgrowth seeds, pickaxe, all this stuff. We can then put that in the system, and the logistics pipes will go, that belongs in the nether and the mob farm storage, and it will actually just push it there so that we're not storing the same stuff everywhere. We're only storing it in one place. Which makes it a bit more efficient as well, because there's a lot of stuff that I don't need heaps of. So, and because whatever storage I do is not going to be infinite, you still want to be a little bit efficient with it, even if when you're using it there's no inefficiencies for you because you're just typing into a terminal to say I want coal or whatever. It doesn't matter to you whether they're in 12 different places or whether it's only in one, but you're going to fill the system up a lot quicker if you don't have any intelligence to it. So you want to set it up right so that when you do put in a big buffer of storage, that's actually going to work. There's a lot of items that I'll be making deep storage units for, like I have in the cow farm, and that's probably what's going to be powering the storage in the garden. as well, so that we can just keep harvesting that stuff, and it'll just keep adding up. We don't want it to get to like 20,000 then finish, because there's a lot of stuff where we need like 40,000 plus of things. So if I have a look, we're a little bit away from this stuff, but we are not an insane amount high. We should be thinking about these things. So we have these singularities. Let's have a look at a normal one. Okay, a redstone singularity takes 51,000 redstone blocks to create one redstone singularity. $49,000 lapis blocks for a lapis singularity. Energetic alloy, 44,000 blocks to create one singularity. Oh my god, and this stuff is not cheap. Fluxed electrum, 43,000. And then we've got things like this. I think that's the main one. Yeah, that's the main one. So we've got this eternal singularity, which requires one of each. So yeah, things get pretty insane, and you need to be able to have this much resources on request when you want them. So by the time we get there, we want hundreds of millions of blocks of each of these things, so that we can just set up big rows of neutron compressors or neutronium compressors, or whatever it's called, and have them compressing these things into singularities, because our hundreds of millions of blocks is going to turn into half a stack of singularities, which is nothing. I think we need a couple stacks of each. Now, notice these don't have EMC values. These things do. They're just normal. This singularity is for Applied Energistics for its remote storage. So it's just a normal item. But this actually requires a bit of items as well. I think it requires 350,000 items, but it doesn't matter which item. So you just pipe a cobble gen into it, and it fills it up really quickly. But these don't have EMC values. Now what that means is you cannot create them through EMC. So we need to create all these items, whereas there's a lot of stuff once you start getting to the end game where you just generate EMC through growing nether stars, or growing other stuff, or through compressed cobblestone and things like that. And then anything with an EMC value, you craft it once, and then you can put it into a machine and duplicate it infinitely, as long as you have enough EMC to create that item. So it makes a lot of things trivial that used to be crazy complicated at that point when you get there. But there is also a whole bunch of items that don't have EMC values attached to them, which means you cannot create them in that way. You still need to create them. So that means that this, you need to create it, but you can create blocks of quartz from EMC if you need to do that. The one thing that you can't do that way is copper. Now, I know this because I've seen other people complain about it, and I am not sure if this is intentional or not, because it's the only one. It's the only metal that doesn't have an EMC value, so you actually need to create your copper blocks, your 50,000 copper blocks to make a copper singularity, whereas the other things you can they have an EMC value, so you can actually create those in the transmuter. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I've got that system kind of set up with the cow farm. We'll see. I probably need to set up, like, I've seen pictures of people who have like 80 casters constantly casting copper blocks just to keep up with the compressor making singularities. Anyway, that's quite a bit in the future. This needs to be torn down and brought down in there as well. So now that I've started cleaning this up, I'll do that. I believe that will be another one like the assembly table, where it will take up 2 levels. So I might put that there, here, and so probably the QED here, and then the smeltery here, and then just take out this whole level here, so that when you walk in upstairs, it's just a wall through there, and then that wall goes all the way down. The reason I haven't moved the QED yet is I looked up how far away I could put the lasers from the assembly table to maximize the amount of lasers I put. Now I can do double layers. I don't know if I want to do double layers. Maybe I do. I'm just trying to think. I don't know if they can get power through each other. We'll have to experiment with that. It depends on how quickly this stuff all works, but I think it'll be fine. Because what I'll be doing with the logistics pipes, and one thing that I really wanted to do when I was playing modded Minecraft in 1.10.2, which doesn't have logistics pipes, is to be able to tell the system to always have a certain amount of items, which is something we're doing with those crop sticks. So we're saying in this chest always have a stack of crop sticks. So whenever we're pulling out of there, the system goes, okay, there is not a full stack of crop sticks, let's put some in until we have a full stack. I really like that functionality, because then I can put a buffer chest here and say this chest should always have a stack of every single thing that the assembly table can make, or maybe even more. I could say we always need 1,000 redstone chipsets, 1,000 gold chipsets, 1,000 machine frames, 1,000 hardened machine frames, etc, etc. And that will take a crazy amount of time to finish crafting those things, but I can leave it and to just do that, and it will just constantly craft all of them, and then when I need them I have 1,000 of them. So that should cater to any situation where I'm crafting a mass amount of stuff. Shouldn't need more than 1,000 of any of those things, and if I do, then I'll just have to wait. But as soon as I start pulling those items out, it will just start crafting more. So yeah, even if I required like 2,000, I'm probably not instantly using 2,000 of those. They need to go into crafting something else. So as soon as I start pulling those things out, it starts crafting more. So yeah, that's the main thing I'm really excited about the logistics pipe system, is to be able to tell it to say we need X amount of these items in the system at all times, and then when I use those it crafts more. So even if we could get a faster assembly table by having multiple layers of lasers, it's might be overkill for what we're doing. It depends. Maybe I just want to do it just because anyway. If I've got the power supply there, I mean, why not speed up the system? Yeah, but at the moment we'll go with a single layer. Like I said, I need to research whether I can use these low-end energy conduits, or whether I need to upgrade to the second tier or the highest tier, so that they're moving enough power. Because what we'll do is I'll have a tesseract here and a tesseract on the other side, and then that should feed power to all of them. But the thing is, these pipes here need to feed enough power to feed all of these pipes here, so that all the lasers are getting as much power as they want to draw, so that when I turn it on, they all turn blue. So yeah, that is the idea. And yeah, for the QED I need to figure out what the maximum distance for that is as well, because I'll be making more of those crystals, Endoflux crystals I think they are. I'm making more of those as well to speed up this machine. And yeah, I'm quite excited to get all this tidied up and actually automated a bit. Play around with a new mod. Took me a little bit to get motivated enough to actually learn it, but there's actually a very good tutorial on it. So you know, thanks to the person that put the effort into actually making that tutorial. I don't know if everyone would like it, but for me, someone who can get stuff rather quickly, it was quite nice. I was able to skim through, get the gist of what the intentions are with all the machines, and to be able to just make what I wanted and play around, set up a system. Yep, that works, and then break that down and then go make a compact version of it over in the Aether. So yeah, we'll end here, and yeah, I think I've decided I'll tidy up the whole this whole overworld building, get that all nice and tidy. It should make things a lot quicker when coming to the garden and trying to set up the storage system there, because hopefully that means that I'll be able to set up a tesseract and some kind of crafting terminal for logistics pipes in the Aether, and then I don't have to be going backwards and forwards. When I'm building over there, I'll have access to my whole system from there, because that's been one of the biggest slowdowns, is going, oh, I need some more diamonds. I get diamonds from my mob system, so I have to go to the Nether to grab some diamonds. I do that. Oh, I need some sulfur as well. Oh, well, that's in the mob system as well, so I'm going over there and doing that, and all that sort of stuff. So there's been a lot of running around, and I'm trying to minimize that as much as possible now, which is something I didn't think I could do until AE2, but now that I've seen what logistics pipes can do, I'm quite excited to get that all done now, before doing Galacticraft and sorting all that out. So yeah, cool. Hopefully I have a lot more of this stuff tidied up in the next episode. I'll see you then.